Welcome to Wiki Bros Newscast. I'm Justin.
This is Kyle.
And this past week in the news, we have Uvalde survivors filing a class action lawsuit seeking $27 billion from law enforcement, school district, and others.
This was a school shooting, correct?
Yes, sir. And
Now, is this the victims of the shooting or the survivors?
well, I mean, the victims aren't going to get anything.
Well, their families, obviously.
Yeah. It's survivors of the mass shooting.
Okay. So is this not including any of the actual victims' families?
I'm assuming that it is as well.
I would hope so.
Yeah. But so we're under the understanding there was almost 400 law enforcement officers there on the scene, and it took them 70 minutes to take action, right? So
what was the holdup? Like, why wasn't any action taken in something?
I mean, there's been varying reports on it, but kind of sounds like nobody knew who was in charge or when to. I mean, basically, everyone was waiting on orders when they should have just acted.
Huh.
Right. So
there was no
I mean,
officer in charge on scene.
Well, there was, but there was different law enforcement agencies there.
Oh, okay.
Right. And so I don't know if nobody knows who was supposed to be in charge or if people are just trying to pass the buck because they screwed up. But
maybe. I mean, that's a major issue to happen, though. I mean,
they should be a lot
deal with
more
routine police calls, so there should be channels already set up for that to know who's in charge.
As much as this kind of thing has happened, there should have been a lot better training.
Yeah. Well, with his, I hate to say it, but with as commonplace as these public and school shootings are becoming, there's a lot more crazy people in the world right now, obviously. So you would think that this would be a common occurrence of training at this point.
Right.
It's happening so frequently that we need to have better prepared police force to deal with this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was just a disaster on their part. But
I have a couple questions. So I'm amazed now with how many instances we've had of this, that the perpetrator was able to get in the school with the gun to begin with.
I don't know if you remember how this actually went about.
No, I don't remember the specifics.
It was, they went in through a side door where a teacher had just been outside at.
What was it, like propped open, or she left the door
open or something like that? Yeah.
Okay.
So it wasn't like, I mean, they had stuff in place. Doors would have been locked. They wouldn't have been able to just walk in. It was just a bad sequence of events that happened that made it possible. But $27 billion is an insanely large amount. And what pisses me off about the number is just that the lawyers typically on a class action lawsuit are going to get 25%.
Yeah. I mean, but you're talking something that could take. I agree. I think that the amount the lawyers are going to get is outlandish.
If they're awarded that.
If they're awarded that. But let's be honest, they're not going to get the full $27 billion. They usually throw out some astronomical number and try to come down from that point. But I mean, this is how these type of lawyers go after these cases.
Yeah, and I get it. They've got to make money.
Right. And I'm sure there's multiple people that they've, this isn't like, a couple lawyers doing this. They usually have like an entire team or board that's addressing this. But
I just wish that they would take the money. I get it that everybody can't work for free, but at least take a chunk of that money and put it back into the system.
I mean, with billions.
I mean, that can provide for, say, extra. I mean, I know that wasn't the case here, but extra schools, like metal detectors, and updated doors, video cameras, stuff like that.
Well, okay, so here's the issue. You're going to get into this. Okay, this is kind of a double-edged sword. So it's like they're suing for $27 billion.
Mm.
They're suing the state.
Right.
So you're taking $27 billion from the state and then complaining about wanting additional security in the schools, which they're demanding the state supply. So, if they were doing this and saying, okay, only, X amount of dollars was going towards the family members, and then the remaining, say, $20 billion is going towards, increasing funding for state security for
Then
schools.
you're basically pulling the hand of the state, saying
Right.
this
So
is
you
what you have to do
right.
now.
You're forcing that. Right now you're just looks and I understand from the family's perspectives, like they're wanting compensation for
Yeah,
these terrible events. But like at a certain point, like you're actually creating more of a problem because you're trying to sue the very place that is in need of upping the security to begin with.
yeah. They just
So
again, they probably wouldn't take the action needed
no, but
unless they were
I think that's what
forced.
the lawsuit's for. Like you said, I think they
Right.
need to use this as a way to force their hand.
Yep.
State that if you don't want to pay the full 27 million or billion, then put X amount of dollars towards
Yep. Yep.
additional security, and then compensate the families accordingly.
So hopefully they get something out of it. I just, like I say, I just wish that the lawyers weren't getting so much money out of it because it just seems insane. You know,
Lawyers and I hate to even say it, real estate agents these days, man, like the percentages that they get on the returns and some of this stuff is becoming astronomical.
right?
But 7 billion, I mean, you
Yep.
can't tell me
I
in
mean,
any scenario that those lawyers need $7 billion
right.
for no matter if you did 10,000 hours, it wouldn't add up to the amount of time that they would have in this case.
So moving on, we have a 10-year-old boy in Milwaukee.
Okay.
He intentionally aimed a gun at his mother and shot her in the head.
10? Holy cow. Why?
Well, Kyle, it's because he wanted this VR headset, and she said no.
That is sad.
Yeah,
Only 10, huh? Like, was
yep,
he angry and did this just out of rage or?
absolutely, that's the case. Now, initially, he said that it was an accident, but it came to light relatively quickly that no, he was just upset because she told him he couldn't have the VR headset, and he killed her.
Could he
And
not wait until
okay,
Christmas, I take it?
well, no. And the thing is that the kid basically the next day, I believe it was, he tells his grandma like, "Oh, like I'm sorry for killing mom," and then promptly asks if his package arrived because he got on Amazon with her card
Oh
and
my
ordered it
God.
the next day.
That's frightening. Like, that kid is a little
Right.
psychopath. Like, shows no remorse whatsoever for that. If he's still more concerned about his package than he is the
Right.
fact that he shot his mom.
Yep. Now this happened. I guess this happened the 21st of November, so it's been a little bit now.
Okay.
Uh, but they were, and I don't know any further details on what has changed on this, but at the time anyway, uh, they were considering trying him as an adult
At
because
10?
at 10, Wisconsin, children as young as 10 can be charged as adults. But the problem I have with this is the the kid at 10 years old does not understand what an adult understands.
No.
Okay. I get that you want, this is horrible. He killed somebody. He appears to have no remorse for his actions, but he's still a 10-year-old boy whose brain has not developed.
Right.
Right. And even if they did charge him as an adult, right, and he's no longer in the juvenile system, how the hell can the adult prison system deal with him?
I mean, he would have to have his own wing. Like, you couldn't even keep him around the other
No,
prisoners
not at all.
for that age. I mean, at all.
Nope.
There's no scenario which that would work. He would have to be in a special facility, which, I mean, he sounds like he needs to be in a psychiatric
Oh,
hospital to begin with. But
absolutely. And he should be. There's just no way of putting him in with adults. No way.
no, you
So,
can't. I mean, well, and maybe it's one of those cases where, if they do happen to try him as an adult, he gets psychiatric help until he's 18 and then has to serve out his sentence for X amount of years after he turns 18. But, I
I
mean,
just
how do you handle that? I mean,
I
that's
just
such a
don't.
rough.
I just don't see. Like, I'm okay with charging minors as adults for certain issues and obviously murder.
Right.
But at 10 years old, to me, that's a little young. I mean, if you did a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. But 10 years old, there's no
Man,
way.
but I mean, it even gets into more issues even with teenage years. So say 13, 14, 15. Okay. So like where's your cutoff at? Because you get people who are going through hormonal changes during those time periods, from adolescence and
Right.
things like that too. So it's like you could even blame that, okay, their brain hasn't matured enough then, or it's the hormonal imbalances that are causing the mental problems. Or but I
Yeah.
mean for I mean like there's not a standard age, right? Like I feel like
Well,
if they're
it's
gonna
a state,
and I understand, like every state's going to make their choice, right? But 10 seems to be a bit
10,
extreme.
10 is extreme,
I can't even
extreme.
understand how you could even. Has there have I'd be interested to see if there's any cases where they actually have tried
Right.
kids that
Yeah, I
young,
don't know.
and what were the consequences and circumstances of it after the fact?
Yeah.
Because what
Yeah,
happened
that
to the
is
kids?
interesting, but I can't see that they have. No way.
No.
I mean, there's a reason we have a juvenile system.
How does this? I'm curious how the family feels about it, and maybe that needs to be left up to the family to make a decision on.
Well, I yeah, I don't
Because
know.
like, okay, the mother's
Okay,
dead. So
and
do you want to throw the child away for life for this at this age, or is it something that they like? It was this a problem kid or problem child already?
you know how I feel about relatives and roommates speaking on
Yes,
issues.
right.
Well, his relatives said that he has had a history of disturbing behavior. When he was 4, he swung the family's puppy around by its tail.
I mean, that's a little weird.
It's a
But I mean, he's 4. But he's
4-year-old,
4.
and that has no bearing on this whatsoever.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know what the family stance would be on this, but I just can't see that it would do any good for him to be put into an adult prison system.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be any good for him. It wouldn't be any good for the taxpayers who are going to have to foot the bill for this, much more than they would having him in a juvenile system.
Right. Well, I mean, like we talked about, it sounds like the kid, he clearly needs some psychiatric help.
Yeah,
He
and
need, he needs an
he's
evaluation.
probably going to be fucked up for
Oh
life.
well, yeah. I mean, even if he say this, he's not doesn't have psychopathic tendencies, and he just didn't understand the consequences of his actions. I mean, the no remorse thing is very concerning. Like that's unusual, even for a
It
10-year-old.
is. It is
And the fact that he went through with the
ordering
order,
the
like that's
yeah.
premeditated. Like the
Okay,
whole thing
no, I
was.
get it.
But then simultaneously, it's like, okay, well, he's 10, so will he understand the consequences of what he did later on and have more remorse for it closer to adulthood? Who knows? But he at least needs to be given the chance to get some help.
Right. So we got to move on to Kanye West.
Oh God, are we really doing this?
Well, you know,
Have you? I'll let you talk about this one, and then I'm going to bring up one that
this.
just happened today or yesterday.
Well, this was just with him announcing that he's running for president again.
Okay. Well, that's probably going to tank even worse because yesterday or the day before he was on a podcast with
He
wearing a
wa-
black mask, claiming that Hitler was awesome.
So this was what's the guy's name that the Sandy Hook got in all the issues with the Sandy Hook thing? Talking
Alex.
about Alex Jones.
Yes.
That's the podcast he was on.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes, and yeah, this guy, he's off his. I don't know. I don't understand what's going on with him.
I'm to the point. I don't know if this is an actual mental health issue or if he's just doing this for attention. Like I don't know. Like it's becoming so outlandish at this point in some time. Like he says some things occasionally that I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. And then he goes off on these crazy tangents that all these anti-Semitic comments, making fun of different groups, and then like claiming Hitler was like basically like a good guy and had like and even comparing him to like some of the other presidents that we've had. And I'm just like, man,
I mean, I saw this, and I'm like, man, if he was to just say anybody, right?
Mhm.
There's all kinds of horrible people throughout history.
Right.
but they have some of them, right, contributed something to society or something that you could say, yeah, he did good on that or
Right.
whatever. That's one thing. But to act like Hitler was a good guy,
Well,
get
he's
the
went on this full
dude.
anti-Semitic attack against Jewish people, and this just kind of is in line with that,
I,
but I don't. But this is going a little bit far. I mean, you're really pushing boundaries here, and he's like he's kind of bragging like, oh, I can't be canceled, but like, dude, you're getting canceled. Like you've already lost your Adidas deal, whether or not that shouldn't have happened. But what did you expect them to do?
yes.
You're going to come out and say some ridiculous comments
And
that we're going to trigger people.
right.
Now, and I'm not for. I think people are they're overly sensitive these days to everything, but there's certain things you just shouldn't really. You're pushing boundaries you shouldn't push.
I mean, this one is nuts. I agree completely. He has gone off the deep end. I've never cared for the guy, ever.
I
I
like some
don't
of his older
I
music,
don't
but
get into the music. I don't get into his personality.
no, he's always been a little weird
Well,
personality wise.
first experience I had with this dude was when he was playing these games with Taylor Swift at those awards where he.
Oh no, that wasn't a game. He was dead
No,
serious.
no,
with that
I
one.
know. That's what I'm calling it a game.
Oh, okay,
No.
okay,
But that's the first time I think I probably ever even heard of the guy.
yeah.
So my first impression is this dude's a dick. Uh,
Seems like an accurate statement.
yeah, but I mean, this stuff he's got going
You don't know
on.
what else has happened too, because I know he did go through like an entire divorce with Kim Kardashian, and there's a lot of drama going on like with their kids and stuff too, which that's probably aided in his mental health problems. Like,
Yes, I can see that that might mess with somebody's mental health a little bit, but not
not
enough to say
not
that
to this much.
Hitler is your best
No,
friend or
no,
whatever the hell it is that he's saying.
no,
But
and he's openly admitted to taking medication. So whatever medical condition that he has, like he needs some people around him to kind of step out and help him out because he's clearly going through some stuff. Like he's gonna dig himself such a hole that he's not gonna recover from.
I hope so. Yep, I hope so.
Well, it's his own choices.
The end of November, the World Health Organization decided that they were going to rename monkeypox.
We were just talking about this the other day about how monkeypox just disappeared.
Yes. Well,
So it's still here.
it's still here.
I haven't heard of any cases on the news.
Well, that you haven't heard of it because it's no longer called monkeypox. So
They
you were like,
renamed it.
oh, yeah,
Okay, well, what's the new name now?
mpox.
Mpox. So
Mpox.
it's basically still monkeypox.
It's still monkeypox, but it's mpox. Why? Why did they rename it, Kyle?
Yeah, why don't we rename every pox?
Well, monkeypox, Kyle. This triggers people.
Okay.
Yes, it's offensive.
No, okay.
Why is it offensive?
Region,
Yep.
probably had
Yep.
something to do with it.
Um.
I mean,
So
I know why it came from the animal, which
It-
is where it came, but
it
I could see
was-
how it could be related.
they first discovered it in a monkey.
Right.
So that's why it's called monkeypox. But the World Health Organization, they've been trying to, they've been trying to act like every company out there
Mhm.
that does business in the U.S. anyway, because we don't give a shit about the companies that do business in China.
Right.
They don't care what China does to their people. But if it happened in the U.S., like, for instance, let's say Nike,
Okay.
okay? Do you think that the workers for Nike in China, do you think they're treated well?
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. But they're not going to speak out about anything like that over there. But over here, they will.
Right.
Over here, they're social justice warriors. In China, they don't say anything.
But we continue to buy from them.
Yep. So, World Health Organization, they have been acting like this, right?
Mhm.
As far as, and it's okay. You don't want anything to be offensive, but people get offended over everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, here's the thing, okay? And it's getting really bad with anything anymore. But why don't they just start assigning letters and numbers to this stuff and be done with it?
Absolutely, they should.
I
This
mean,
one though,
even let's go so far as like even the hurricanes. Just sign a letter and a number to it, because the next thing will be somebody's upset about a hurricane name.
I agree, and I've thought about this because on hurricanes, the way they alternate between male and female names won't be long.
Yep.
And why isn't there a non-binary name or?
Well, I mean, you're already getting blowback on Mother's Day and Father's Day, which I'm not going to get into that. I think it's ridiculous, but you will start seeing this in everything, and just like you pointed out, that will eventually become an issue.
Yep. So anyway, I get it. They're trying to stay away from regions as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like how the coronavirus. How Trump always tried to say it was the China virus.
Yeah.
He always talked about the China virus.
Yep.
So they're saying that basically we don't want to name anything related to a region that may cause issues with that region, right? So people may not want to visit that region for tourism because they get an idea that if they go there, they're going to get monkeypox or corona or whatever, right?
Right.
So, okay,
But I mean,
that's fine.
we've never officially named anything for a region, though, have we?
Yeah, I believe we have, and I mean, it sure seems like it. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Oh, I'm going through like the list of diseases. I can't think of anything that's actually been named from a specific region. You've got like mad cow disease, SARS, and I know a lot of the diseases that did come over here did originate from the Asian territory, but we never called them a China virus at that point in time. I know Trump was just doing it just to be Trump, but
yeah, I don't know. Let me see what I've got here.
Well, I mean,
West Nile virus,
okay,
Rocky Mountain spotted fever.
but West Nile specifically came from that region from the mosquitoes.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's going to spread, but they don't want to.
Yeah, who wants to do tourism in an area that is plagued with West Nile?
Well, who wants to go to China when you could get the coronavirus?
That you should have been traveling during the coronavirus anyway.
Yeah, but you didn't know. And now later, it's going to be, if we continue to call it China virus.
No, I know. They should have called it China. That's just ridiculous. But by animals, I think are a little.
Let's see. You had MERS.
Yeah.
Right. Middle East Respiratory Syndrome.
Okay.
What
was SARS?
SARS was severe acute respiratory syndrome, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought maybe it was South Asia or something.
No, I don't think so. I mean, there was a couple.
H1N1.
No,
swine flu, bird flu.
But there's the Spanish flu.
Okay.
I don't think people have been concerned about going to Spain.
No. Ebola.
Yeah. German measles. Yeah, I think that's pretty much. I don't really see anything else that would. But either way, it happens.
They just need to come up with just standard names for everything. Just standard naming conventions, like with COVID-19. Okay, it's fine. And even then, it was changed from Corona, which I don't even know how they got coronavirus to.
So that's what the COVID was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it the coronavirus?
Well, that's all you heard at first. It was the coronavirus, and then all of a sudden it was COVID-19.
Right. Yeah. So this one though was a little bit different. Normally it's like closed door session with all these bigwigs at the World Health Organization that come up with names, right? Names. This one they opened up to the public.
Oh my God, this is gonna be terrible.
Oh yeah, there was Trump 22. That was a possible name for monkeypox.
Trying to get him back for the China virus.
There was Poxy McPockface. That was a submission. Yeah.
I hope a 5-year-old turned that in.
We just won't open this up to public anymore.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
All right. So
you watch next time. They're gonna make like a contest out of it.
Well, I mean, that's basically what this was. I mean,
do you win a prize if they pick your name?
I don't know. Well, I mean, you get bragging rights.
All the names they let submit, and then they went with Mpox.
Yeah,
Like
because they couldn't come up with that themselves.
right. So chicken pox will now be C-pox.
C-pox.
Smallpox is S-pox.
What about what if there's a second pox?
M2 pox.
Tupac.
Oh, funny. Real
See
funny.
what I did there?
No,
You got that?
I see.
So
You're gonna get hit with trademark infringement.
you hear about this? I can't help it. The World Health Organization is doing it,
Oh,
not me.
okay.
Hear about this woman that's suing Kraft?
No, before did she burn herself?
She's an idiot.
Oh, I mean, most of these lawsuits are these days.
No, Kyle, she did not burn herself. So
That would have made sense.
So she's in the store and she's going shopping, right? And she's like, "Oh, hey, macaroni sounds good. I'll get some shells and cheese, right?"
Okay.
So they got those little cups that you just add the water and you stick in the microwave.
Yeah, like
right?
all the macaroni and cheeses do now.
Okay. Well, there's a little bit of information on this packaging that says that it's ready in 3.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not ready in 3.5 minutes. Oh no. 3.5 minutes is how long it should go in the microwave for. So
You can't be serious.
oh yes, there is more, Kyle. Maybe you didn't realize this, but there is more to cooking macaroni and cheese than just having it in the microwave for 3.5 minutes. Now,
Pouring the milk in.
oh well, if you use milk, but generally speaking, you're going to have to open the packaging.
Okay.
Okay. Then you're going to have to put water in it.
Right.
Then you're going to have to put it in the microwave. You got to shut the door to the microwave. That's got to take a second.
Push the button.
You got to push the buttons. And then it's got to be in there for 3.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes out, then you put in your sauce, and then you've got to stir it. And then you've got to you got to wait. It's got to set up.
So what would you say the total time is? Maybe 4 minutes?
5 minutes would be my guess.
Real 5 minutes?
I think
There ain't
so.
no way it takes 5 minutes.
Well,
I mean, if you let it to cool.
Setting up,
Well,
cooling down.
The amount of time it takes to cool is on her. Okay.
So we'll call it 4 minutes and 15 seconds.
Okay, that's
All
fine.
right. Now, she was under the impression, Kyle, that it would be ready in 3.5 minutes.
Hold on.
Now,
What could her argument be for a lawsuit, though?
Well, because she chose to buy this brand over another's brand, which means she spent more money on this.
Well, first off, she bought Velveeta versus the generic brand, so of course she spent more money on it. She didn't, but let's be honest.
No,
she didn't buy it. I have never once walked in a grocery store, looked at two items that were name brand versus generic, and said, this one cooks 15 seconds faster than the other one. That's the one I'm going to buy.
And you haven't done that because you're not Amanda Ramirez. But Amanda Ramirez, she bases her decision solely on what the packaging tells her how long it's going to take.
I just want to say this.
So-
Hold on. I just want to make a comment. It's people like this are why we have stickers on batteries that says "Don't drink the acid." Like this is why.
Yes. So she's filing a $5 million class action lawsuit against Kraft.
Wow.
over this.
Is this for her pain and suffering? I'm curious how she got to this number.
Well, I think it's just because she was misled, right? She was misled because it says 3.5 minutes and not just cooking
If
time.
the courts give her a dime, I have lost all faith in humanity.
Yeah, I would say they're probably not going to. But
Now you watch. This is what generally happens in these bullshit situations. She's going to file this. It will never go to court. And Kraft is going to be like, we're going to pay you to just shut up. And here's $50,000. Go away.
Yep.
And that because she's not going to be able to fight them in court long term. Let's be honest. Like she's not.
Well, it's class action.
It is, but
other people are going to jump in on this too. And
oh God, here we go. And there will be, because anytime there's money involved, because they'll start emailing everybody on Google. Hey, if you've ever purchased Velveeta shells and cheese between 2016 and 2022, please contact us with your information so we can, stick you in this lawsuit.
And as you should be.
And now it's $26 billion.
You were misled too.
Now I would be more upset for this one getting $26 billion than I will the shootings. At least they have a serious reason to sue. But that's pathetic. People will sue for anything these days.
They will sue for anything.
You know what it shows you? You shouldn't put any information on the packaging other than just what it is. Nothing. Just
Well,
somebody
you
in
can't
advertising. Somebody in advertising got sued.
you can't do that because then you get sued for not disclosing information.
Oh, yeah, true. Well, I mean, they don't have to say how much time it takes.
Well, they don't have to say
But
that.
you know what, Velveeta? Maybe you shouldn't be so boasting about your speedy
Yeah.
pasta.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, get off your high
Yeah.
horse.
Somebody came back from advertising, was like, dude, 3.5 minutes. Wait a minute. I get a question.
Yes.
What if you have a less powerful microwave?
Well, then it's going to take you more time too.
What if you have a more powerful microwave?
It's going to take you less time.
Oh, we'll see. Maybe they had a more powerful microwave.
But
That could be a good argument to
I
use in
think
court.
generally speaking, though, on the
I can't help it
instructions,
if
it'll say based on an 1100 watt microwave oven or something like that.
maybe Miss Ramirez can't read with her 900-watt microwave because
No, she can't read because she's got dollar signs in her eyes.
no, that's for sure.
So in Iran, you know what's going on over in Iran right now?
Yeah, I've seen some of this.
Okay. And so this is all happening because of the death of that girl, right?
Okay, go into detail for those who don't know.
So basically, you've got morality police over there, right? There's a woman. She's 22 years old, and I'll never be able to tell you her name, and I apologize for that. But something like Masa Amini, or I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, even if I'm trying here. But she was in police custody, and she died.
Okay,
Mysterious circumstances, right? We don't know how
what did she die of?
That's what I'm saying. It's
They don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know. But it was because she wasn't wearing the hijab, right?
Okay,
And she's a woman, and she's out. She should have been wearing this, right? So
Right.
the morality police, they got her in, and she dies. So this has caused an uproar over there. And you know what? Good for them for finally stepping up. But this is basically you've got a bunch of women and younger men too.
right.
So they are protesting left and right. I mean, I've seen videos of these people, and now it's like it's kind of, to me, it's disrespectful to some of the people. Like there'll be people videos, sorry, of older gentlemen walking down the street, and you get these guys coming up, these young kids or whatever coming up, and basically just flicking their hijab off, right?
Mhm.
Completely disrespectful to them, but I understand why they're doing it.
Right.
Right.
It's a form of protest.
And it is. But it's gotten pretty big, right? And so now I couldn't believe it. I mean, I read it twice. But Iranian officials this weekend,
Mhm.
it's insane. This is Iran, right? They basically their morality police that they have, they basically have shut them down.
Really?
Yes, it's basically it's the I would say it's the first, at least the most significant, right, concession that the government has made on this.
Right.
Like, it's
I
for
mean,
Iran.
that's a big move
For
to go that
Iran
far.
to give in to protesters and demonstrators like that.
You know, that the question here is for them to go that far, to take that step. It makes you wonder how close they were to, and I hate to say it, but borderline civil war.
Well,
Because religion's a strong thing in their culture, so it's like for them that to be challenged, because that's the reasoning for
so
the
that
situations.
with this, what's gone on, since these have started, like 450 people have been killed over there. 18,000 people were arrested.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's big. It's been a big thing. They're saying that basically it's the I want to say that it's like the biggest demonstration since their revolution that they had in 1979.
Yeah.
1979.
I mean,
Sounds right.
it's good to see that they're taking it seriously. I mean, that sounds like they've given them no choice at this point. You've got that type of support for a movement. I mean, it's
Yeah.
you have to take it seriously before it becomes violent.
Well, I mean, it's
Which
already become
yeah,
violent,
yeah. I mean,
but
yeah, I mean violent internally. Yeah,
yeah.
it is already violent. Just based on what they're doing. But
And I think they're trying to save themselves because I think it will get bigger,
yeah,
and then you are, like you say, you're looking at a civil war coming,
oh yeah,
right? But I mean, honestly, like I say, good for them for finally, standing up. Like
yeah.
somebody died because
Man, you see so many cases of this stuff, and it's like some of it's just sickening. You see some of these women get downright raped by multiple men, and then they're just shunned by community like it's their fault.
you're right, right.
And it's like that is so outrageous. I don't care what your laws are. Like that is a heinous act. It was perpetrated by the men in your country, and then you're basically like letting them get away with it, and you're punishing the woman for
Yep. And then
their
you're
actions.
left
Like
at the
that is
mercy
she
of
was
the
the one who was put through trauma, and then you're going to do that to them, like, do that to her. Like that's ridiculous.
And honestly, I'm just I am so past religion being used through government
Yeah.
of any country. Like come on, like she is going against the religious beliefs of the area.
Hmm.
So it's a crime. Like let's just, can we try and keep religion and government separated? I mean, I know in the US, I know we try
Right.
to do that. But
I have no argument for anybody in their religious beliefs, but when it's infringing on like the safety basically in this situation, it's when literally coming down to that. It's the safety of others around you. That's a problem. Like you're talking about people being abused, murdered, raped, all for religious sake, and like that's
yeah,
too far. Like
raped
if
for religious sake.
right, just
Like,
just that statement in itself, right? Like if you're saying this is for our religion, like you need to reevaluate something here.
yep. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't care what your values are, but this stuff wrong is wrong, no matter what it is.
Is it? Is wrong wrong?
It better be. If wrong's right, we got problems.
Oh, okay, that's fair, I guess.
Move on.
So, I mean, that's what I've got for you for the news over this past week or
I
so.
thought you had one more last time.
No,
I thought we had one other one we were going to talk about. All right, we'll move it to the next one.
I don't think so. Did you have something?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I thought we'd discuss one more, but
Nope. However, when we come back, which I'm saying it'll probably be a week.
okay.
Uh,
I kind of like doing the once a week news stories. It's kind of
yeah, wrap it all up.
wrap up the highlights of stuff we see. I know
Um,
some of these may be like could be even roll into the previous week, but a lot of the
Well, and
entertaining
yeah,
ones.
we've had issues trying to get everything going here. We had some delays, so but we'll try and be back in another week for another newscast, and we have this Salem witch trials coming up for the Wiki Bros show. Pretty excited about this. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited about it. I've been doing a lot of research on it, and there's a lot more information coming to you than what you learned in school. At least a lot more than what I learned in school. So that should be fun. So hopefully we can get that within the next week or so. Might be the end of next week.
Okay,
So
it'll be a fun one to do.
so anyway, that's all we got for the newscast. Remember to follow us on YouTube. Hit that little subscribe button. And check us out anywhere you get your podcast. Spotify, Amazon, Google Podcast, wherever it is. Follow us. Give us a little like. Leave a rating. Tell a friend.
Don't forget TikTok.
TikTok. We're there, baby. Come on. Watch us on TikTok. So anyway, try and do all that. And remember that Wikipedia runs on donations. They should be asking you every time you go there now for the next week or so, hey, could you give us a couple bucks? Give them a couple bucks, man. It's a couple bucks.
I've seen it pop up a few times already.
Have you given him a couple bucks?
I
Not
have
putting
before,
you on the
actually.
spot.
I have actually before. I use it a lot.
Yeah, I do too. It's fun. So anyway, do that, and that's all we got. So until next time, I'm Justin,
This is Kyle.
and we'll see you soon.